It's the Nerdy Movie Guy, and today we're reviewing a movie in a violent nature. So this is a new horror movie, came out this year, just a few months ago, and this one stands out as an original because there's really nothing like it. This movie, most of the filming, not completely, but most of the filming is from the viewpoint of the killer. And in this movie, you it takes a while to learn who or what he is. You just see this sort of humanoid thing. He's got a mask on, so you can't tell if it's human or creature or something in between. There's this humanoid thing walking around, and it preys on its victims slowly. So the thing with this movie is, if you're a horror fan that wants all this comedy thrown in there, if you want this fast-paced action, this CGI filled bloody action, this is not going to be the movie for you. This is definitely something you have to appreciate. It's originality for being something so different. Like I said, it's nothing really compares to it, but it is definitely a slow burn. You slowly get information about this thing and the people. You slowly see the kills. It's filmed behind the killer, and you see him walking through the woods towards and from most of his kills. And because he's walking in the woods, there is a lot of shots of him just walking. A lot of shots where you don't even see any people nearby. It's just him traversing through these woods. And so I could see why maybe some people found it boring. If someone says it's slow, I don't blame them. This can be portrayed as something very slow or something boring. I found it interesting, and it was interesting enough to make it not feel as boring or slow to me. But I definitely recognize that those are two common opinions of this movie. So when it comes to the kills, there is such a variety of kills in this movie that anyone who has a favorite kill from it is going to be a different answer. There are kills that are gross, ridiculous, and bloody, over the top, just the ridiculousness of it. And then there are some that are just sort of subtle, sharp, quick, and some are off camera. And then there are some that are just really anticlimactic. Some are just a letdown, honestly. And so there's such a variety of different kills. That's what puts this movie in such a different kind of category. It's because there's so many different styles to the filming and the storytelling and the killing in this movie. Usually a long-standing franchise for horror movies, the killer will have sort of this theme to it of how he kills or where he kills, or a certain family that's being stalked or targeted. There's not really the case with this one. He's just killing whatever's nearby, and so there's really no method to the madness with this creature, as you see in this movie. This thing, I'm not gonna spoil for you guys. You'll figure it out if you watch the movie for yourselves. There is a reveal. It's just not in the beginning. And so because of that, because he's walking slowly and there's so much long shots of him walking, for someone who is excited for the difference, the ambiguity, the intrigue in this kind of a movie, I think it stands out to really make everything just more intense. I just remember watching the movie just feeling super intense most of the way through. And I remember having all these different feelings. I remember seeing this really great, awesome kill, and it's like, okay, cool, it's exciting. And then there's one that's just anticlimactic. Like I said, there's so many different kills. You sort of get different reactions from different horror fans. The ending is a little complicated. There's one of those classic, it feels like 10 minutes long, even though I'm sure it's like 2. But there's a long explanation scene that these characters are explaining things that are sort of vague, and you sort of have to piece together and take the idealisms or, just sort of what these characters are talking about. It's sort of a puzzle to figure out what's being said, but it sort of leaves viewers to their own interpretation of it as well, which I think keeps the ambiguity, and it's vague enough to stand out on its own as a story and as a film individually. So there was a lot of interesting concepts in this movie because it is slower the way it's styled. It's not going to appeal to everyone. I found it interesting. I think there are some interesting kills. The dialogue was pretty generic for the characters you see in this movie, for the people. The dialogue, just, there's really nothing special to it, but it's just, they're just extras. They're just extra characters for, the creature, this monster to go after. And so at the end of the day, I was really intrigued by it. I should have seen it a second time to get a second opinion, but I just didn't. And I'm looking forward to finding out when its physical releases. It's definitely one I want to have in my collection. And I will give it a rewatch when I get the chance. So I am excited, waiting around for its release. If you're interested in this movie, I would say check it out. It's an hour and a half. It's not that long. It's it's an easy watch because of its runtime. And if you end up watching it, guys, just let me know what you think. I thought this was an interesting one. I personally don't have a lot of friends that have seen it. I have a small few. So just let me know what you think about this movie. It definitely sort of flew under the radar a little bit, but I think its concept, standing out as an original, was something really cool to see. It's very interesting, and I loved it. So thanks for watching, everyone.